Okay, I've looked online to try to find an easier way to do this, and I really can't find any. I guess it's not that important, I guess, but cutting the inner fenders to fit your suspension, so whenever you have your truck bagged or lowered, your suspension, your A-arms don't hit. So these are the original inner fenders. I've bought new ones. You can see brand new one right here. And what I've done is I've oversized the hole. So I knew that it would fit in there, and then I can make a template of how I wanted. And what I did was I used paint sticks. And then just kind of, you can see it right there. I just kind of taped them up to get what I wanted to where it cleared the way I wanted it. And then I transferred that to a piece of cardboard. I pulled the paint sticks off, had them taped together. And I came over and transferred it to a piece of cardboard. And I laid it on my inner fender. And then I taped around it. Of course, I had to cut the little notch on this side so the cardboard would sit flat. So I just carried it all the way over because I knew that when I did the other side, I'd have to flip it over to get the same, the same size, same cut and everything. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut, and I may have cut it a little tight because it's always easier to go a little bigger. Just got to be careful to get it to fit. Now we're actually doing this side first. So once I get it cut and sized and put on there to see how it fits, I'll come back. Okay, I told you about this. Cut them oversized, made a template, transferred that to cardboard. This is laid out, so no clearance issues. It's hard to see. And that barely touches. Once it's bolted up, tightened up, it won't even be an issue. How I did that is I made a pattern. I cut it out. It's better to go smaller than bigger. So I made my first template, cut it out on this one. It was a little tight in a few areas, so I marked it with tape again, how much I wanted to cut off. Then I pulled it off, and you have to raise the car up and down, or the truck up and down, because when it's down like this, you cannot get that in there because of the tire. Just so you know that. So you have to raise it up, all the way up. Then you can get the inner fender in there. Just kind of put the bolts in and hold it in place. Then you can see where you want to trim it. Put the tape on the sides where you want to trim it. Then you pull it back off, trim it, put it back on. Everything looks great. I cleaned up the edges. And then I put it on and I lowered it down to see where it fit. And then I have to raise it back up to take it off. So now it's all the way down just so you can see it. Now what we did, originally the template was, I had it setting in the edges right here. So I knew right where it needed to go. That's as far as it's going to go. And I cut this out so it goes over the hump. But it was a little too small, which I said smaller is better to go. You can always go a little bit bigger. So then when I got that, I got another piece. When I got it trimmed out, I put this on the back side of the cut, marked it. Then I brought it over on this side, cut this piece out. Used this piece because this was my original template because I had it sitting on this edge right here. And I had it sitting here on this edge. So then when I had it cut out, I put it back in and I went through and did a line on the panel. And then I measured from this hole, because it's the same on both. These are not. The front up here is the same. Found my marks, my measurements. Put my template back on it, and it fit right in the area where I taped it. So it sits perfectly. Then what I did is, so I could see my lines, I went ahead and put my tape on my lines. So when I'm cutting it, the sun is so bright out here, the line kind of disappears because it's a black marker. And I cut that out. Now we're going to cut this one out now, and it should be identical to the other one, because all the measurements from that fender from here to here are the same, and from here to here are the same. So when I cut this out, it'll fit perfectly, and it'll be just like the other one. Now another thing I'm going to do, I'm not sure if anybody else is doing this either, but I looked at getting some smooth panels made for it, but they wanted way too much money. So I'm going to go back in with some Duraglass, smooth these out, and I'm going to put a filler on top of the whole thing and block it out smooth. So it's just a smooth, my own little smooth panel, so it looks smooth inside. So next step, to get that one cut, and then take this one off, take that off, take the front off, and go ahead and start to fill them. And then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay guys, after a big mess, dropping everything at my feet, I got one of them. This is the original that you buy. I bought this from Classic Industries. They're about 125 a piece, something like that. Really good. They fit really nice. After I got it cut out with my template that I just showed you, I started to fill all the little indentions because I wanted more of a smoother look, which would have cost me a lot to get these smoother inner fenders made. So what I did was smoothed it myself. Dynaglass, layered it in, just a layer. I didn't want to do too thick all at once, so I did a little layer, and then I did a little layer, and then I sanded it out and did a little layer, and then I went back with sorry for the mess, but I know where everything's at. That 3M platinum pillar, amazing stuff. Tell you what guys, I'm pretty excited. Now it's time to start on the other one, and I hope you can definitely see it in the video. Night and day, night and day. I primed it, I blocked it out, primed it, put my undercoating on it, and then I put KBS satin. This stuff is awesome, extremely hard. This is what's on my frame. If you guys don't know anything about KBS, you look at some of my other videos and it'll have KBS where I did some of the stuff on the frame, the clear coat, the testing that I did. Go to their website, kbscoatings.com, and you look at some of their videos. Look here on YouTube, but it turned out really nice. So now we get to do the other one. So look for this in the next video when I have it all put together. Thanks a lot guys. If you want, subscribe, Classic Truck Addictions, hit the little notification bell, and watch all the stuff that comes up. Appreciate it.